Hello and good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, Mr. BoomStick XL, and we have an outstanding show packed and riddled with controversy, but also on the heels of that controversy, Xbox seems to be doing something that a lot of people have been asking for. It happened during the 360 era, and it is a topic that Dreadpool himself is going to lead because he dropped it into the DM, had a really good commentary regarding it. And I think that for gamers on a budget who can't or do not want to wait for a sale, if you go to your local mom and pop grop shop or your GameStop or any of your other used games places where you buy them, now you'll be able to use actual discs and get that license for your digital Xbox Series S. It is a big deal. It's a much bigger deal, and I'm glad that we're going to cover it. But of course, before we get into the big topic, what I believe to be not only the worst news for Xbox this year, certainly industry stopping, is the fact that both of their Bethesda's biggest, newest IPs, specifically Xbox exclusive IPs, have been delayed to the middle of 2023, leaving a gaping hole in what we know as Xbox first party. We're going to get some. So I got a DM yesterday that kind of gave me a little bit of light in the darkness, so to speak, of what is going to be happening. We'll break exactly what someone told me. And again, it is a rumor, so take it with a grain of salt. But let's get into the introductions first. And we're going to start first, of course, with Dreadpool. Dreadpool, man, how the heck are you? And more importantly, what have you had for breakfast?
Yes, good morning, everyone. I haven't had any sleep yet. I'm still running on soda. It's not what you think. It's soda this time, okay? So I could still drink it if I wanted to. I just don't care. But yes, we had bacon and eggs. You know, the classic breakfast, right? With some
That's
toast.
great, dude.
You got to do it every once in a while, you know? So, do you want to keep doing the intros before we go into this topic?
No, yeah. Let's. We'll come back around to that particular topic because we're going to do a segue from the main story into that. Yeah. Listen, great to have you here. Great that you're eating well. Bacon and eggs, man, staple in breakfast for Americana. I love it, Mrs. Boomer. But we do, we try to do egg whites and we try to do turkey bacon. I'm very boring like that to some extent, but I still have my bacon and eggs. It's just a little different. But Dreadpool, great to have you back, brother. And we'll get to your topic, which I'm incredibly excited to talk about. Because, like I said, when you talk about gaming on a budget, you look at someone like Mag, middle-aged game guy. He bought himself a PlayStation 5 digital, and he's stuck because Sony has games in their store that are 18 months old, and they're still full price, which is gross. It's so typical Sony. But we'll get to that momentarily. Let's introduce next Crispy Bomb. Now, you obviously left this show for prime time, but you're back 2 weeks in a row, and we love it. How are you, man? How you feeling?
The stars have aligned, Boom. The stars have aligned. And, of course, got to give Xbox a little smoke. Also have to take the L. I'm going to say it, okay? Was 99% sure I felt like Starfield was coming out, and I will take the L.
We're all taking the L, brother.
L's are being handed out, and we're all taking it.
Yes.
Well,
you know what? Sometimes you got to say it because, a lot of people are just like, oh, these guys just don't ever take an L. Yeah, we're taking L. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you. Speak for yourself.
Yeah, well, that's fine, Dread. Okay.
All
he's thinking about is that DRM.
And seriously, Crispy, for anyone out there listening, look, Microsoft took the big L yesterday, 100%. Microsoft and Bethesda, so we're all on the same boat here.
Yep.
Yeah. L's are being handed out in a boatload, and listen, that's life. We got it wrong, but it's Crispy. It's great to have you back, brother, and we know that you have some big opinions. We're going to talk about that. And, of course, we're going to be tactful and professional, but Just not a good look, man. Really, really not a good look. And, they need to do better. And we have a tweet from Phil Spencer that acknowledges they need to do better. And I'm glad that he went out there and he was talking about it. We'll get into that momentarily. Next up, Fuzzy Belvedere, brother. How you feeling? And thanks for joining me yesterday. You were one of the many that stopped by the impromptu, if you will, podcast for the Xbox Factor podcast, breaking down this pretty terrible news.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here with you guys and awesome to see the chat out here. And man, we got some stuff to kind of grind through, but hey, delays happen. We're going to give our thoughts, and I won't take any more time. Let the other guys get their intros in, but thank you so much for having me.
All right, brother. Well, it's great to have you here. And next up, John Wolf. How you feeling, brother? Welcome.
Brother, what's going on, everyone in the chat, everybody on the panel, guys? I think last time we met was last Wednesday, Boom.
Yes.
Missed you all very, very much to, my brothers in arms here talking about games. Boom, it's been a slow week for news, huh?
Yes, terrible. We got nothing to talk about.
Nothing happened, right? No, man. So yeah, man. It's been a bittersweet week here. We got some bad news from Xbox and Bethesda yesterday, but we're here to try to make sense of it. Do it like the gentlemen we are. We're gonna have a good conversation about it. And like you said, Boom. At the same time, this is not going to be an apology to, from Xbox centric gamers. This is just going to be more of a conversation, try to make sense of this thing. And also, accountability is huge. Okay. So we're also going to touch on that, especially I know I'm going to touch on that. So looking forward
absolutely. 100%. And last and no way least, the guy that's been doing interviews better than Johnny Carson himself, Web Dave. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Saving the best for last.
That's right, brother. Where's the Swami hat? I didn't want to know, but
I do need to do that, right? I do need. Was it the Great Karnak? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, no, dude, man, I'm so excited to be here today, and my God, with the absolute best panel in the mornings. That's all I'm saying. Well, good morning, America. We're here live. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you a part of it, brother. Thanks, so thank you for that. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, look, I need to start with this. The delay itself to make a better Redfall, to make a better Starfield, zero problems, right? That's not the problem here. The problem is that once again, Microsoft's Achilles heel is exposed, and that is messaging. Now, I'm going to say this, and I know I'm very privileged to know that many in Microsoft, I can't say specifically who, listen to the show. And I'm honored by that because this is a very small show. I know everyone's like, oh, boom, 10K. Yeah, that's great. But there are 100K shows that they don't listen to. So I'm extremely privileged and honored. So the one thing people tune into this particular channel for is for honesty. And that's what you're going to get now. The problem with the announcement is where I'm really stuck in neutral for. Microsoft is a $2.5 trillion company, right? We all know that. There is zero reason why they could not have put a film crew together to have Todd Howard or Pete Hines himself get out there and speak to the people. I thought the way it was done was ho-hum. Nobody really gives a shit about these two games. That's how I took it as an Xbox fan, and I felt insulted. Okay, if you're going to delay two of your biggest first-party games, as a matter of fact, the only two first-party games that we know that are coming this year outside of Deathloop that was held up due to obviously contractual issues with Sony, you don't do it that way. You don't ho-hum it. You have to get out there and you have to be front-facing, and you also have to be honest with your fans. We deserve that. And that's not what was done. It was done in a very nonchalant, hey, sorry for the delay, but, those are the breaks, kid. That's unacceptable. I'm sorry to say that is absolutely 1,000% unacceptable. And if you have a different opinion, I hear you. But you know what? You're not going to get me to agree with you. Okay, there are ways to do things, and there's ways not to do them, and that's exactly how it was yesterday. It was done in a very nonchalant, well, whatever, way. And I don't like that. So we're going to get into what happens now. Now, before we get into that, I want to read what Phil Spencer had to say on the delay. And this is why I love Phil. This is why a lot of people in the community love Phil, because he understands the delay. He's the head of Microsoft Gaming, but he also was quick to understand that there were some shortcomings in delivering these titles. And this is what Phil Spencer had to say yesterday on Twitter. These decisions are hard on teams making the games and our fans. While I fully support giving teams time to release these great games when they are ready, we hear the feedback. Delivering quality and consistency is expected, and we will continue to work to better meet those expectations. Now, that's just what Phil does. He comes out there, he's forward-facing, and I appreciate that. Doesn't take away from the fact that it was done in a very inappropriate way, again, in my opinion. But I do want to get some people that we didn't get a chance to talk to yesterday. Fuzzy, Webb, Dave, we'll get to you momentarily. I want to start first with Crispy Bomb, and then we're going to get Dreadpool, and then John, and then obviously Webb, Dave, and Fuzzy. Crispy, you have had a lot to say on this. Now, we all took L's because, if you would have asked us, I would have bet the house, and I'm not a gambler at all, that this was coming out. And I say that only because Todd Howard, as of this particular announcement, has never missed a date. He's always come out there 6 months before, announces something, boom, the game comes out. And obviously the game isn't ready. So we understand that. So this is the first time he's actually missing a date. I mean, for me, and again, I'm speaking just for me, not for anyone on this panel. As an Xbox fan, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel a bit deflated. I was riding such a high wave rolling into this next show that's literally 30 days away. And I completely feel dejected over this news. Because now we don't know if Microsoft actually has a plan B. Are they releasing anything? Is Motorsport coming out this year? Hell, I don't know. But we're going to find out soon enough. Crispy, what are your thoughts on this whole shenanigans, if you will?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things. I'm right there with you with the way they tweeted it out, first off. To include both. I mean, Redfall, I had a feeling could be delayed.
Well, we heard that it could be delayed until December, and even though, again, no problem if that's a new IP. It didn't have a date. It was scheduled for the summer, but then they started hearing maybe the fall. If that gets delayed, we're like, yeah, we understand it,
But that hard date is where us Xbox fans have a problem, and it's not only that, it's the track record. I mean, it's there. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm looking at it this way. The game has to have some kind of issues for them to do this. So at the end of the day, I get to keep that same energy because I did it for Sony as well. Okay. If they need to delay it, they need to delay it. Now, I don't know what, I mean, is next year going to be like 10 first party games? Like we're going to have like nothing this year. I mean, that's not really what we're looking for, Xbox. It's really not. So, I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what is going on behind the scenes. I don't know what we're going to see June 12th. What I want to know is why they went about it this way. You've been putting out videos about Starfield. You couldn't do another one.
Please speak on that. That is a point that a lot of people are forgetting. In the last 4 months, Crispy, they've put out quite a few videos indicating that they are ready for prime time, right? Like you would think, hey, you're putting out these videos, you must be ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, and that's why we would have bet the house and lost, right? Boom, because we were like, oh man, they're talking about the sound design, and they're going through like just the developers and how this game is going to be like this new thing that's going to be like really special. And it's like you got us all hyped up, and then you're like, oh, we just push this button here and we're just gonna throw this tweet out, and then that's it. And it's like, dude, you've been doing videos. You could have had Todd come out and say, look, whatever it may be. I mean, Xbox goes there, all of a sudden this tweet comes out. You know what I'm saying? So, it might have been, there wasn't quite the communication. Maybe Phil went there and was like, this, I just got a bug. I mean, we can't be releasing like this. We can't. You never know. It could have been more minor than we're used to from Bethesda themselves. But Xbox is like, no, we got to take this to another level. You know what I'm saying? This is not just one, an IP. This is your, your baby, your 20-year baby, and now it's ours. We're together on this, and the optics of it releasing, very buggy and stuff like that can destroy title. I mean, look at Forbidden West right now. I still don't know. I mean, how much did they sell? They're bundling it with PS5s. You know what I mean? So those little gripes that Boom had and many other had have become an issue for this game, and now it's kind of like dying. And Starfield technically is a single player game, so you're relying on the gamer to continue to play it. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not going to work right, they're going to stop playing it. So I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just hoping that maybe there's this big thing that they're going to announce in June, because it's quite odd that all this transpired. And I mean, who's to say that somebody might not be more ready than Bethesda right now? You never know. You know what I'm saying? With all these developers, you have developers that you work with closer, because Bethesda, they kind of leave alone. So then they went there and they're like, oh, this isn't right. At the end of the day, delays are far better for me than, releasing a broken game.
Yes, I 100% agree.
And at the same time, I'm with you, Boom. They should have put out a little, it could have been a 30-second video, something like that. Just to, kind of, because, the Bethesda fans are just as big as Xbox fans in general. So, I mean, that would be important to them as well. You know what I'm saying? If they're just a Bethesda, player, you know what I mean? So that's something that they got to think about in the future, because if you're going to say 2 titles, you need to do a little more than that, man. I'm sorry.
Dude. Yeah. Again, remember, that's the other thing. It's not just one game. It's 2 games from 2 separate teams. I mean, that's again, it's a big announcement, and Crispy, I think you're onto something. There must have been something unbelievably wrong that this meeting of the minds, because you remember you had Aaron Greenberg and a few others putting out the tweet where that they had got together with the people from Bethesda, and I think that's awesome. But obviously, I think that you're onto something for sure. At that point, this is where this decision was made. Listen, the game is going to be better for it. There's just no doubt about it. When the game releases, it is still going to be a big deal. This is a delay. Look, again, I'm not making excuses, but we've seen the same thing happen to Sony and some of their studios, specifically with The Last of Us 2, right? That had a multitude of delays before it was released. And the game came out, and, again, I didn't like the story, but you can't argue that the graphics and everything were amazing, right? So there you go. I have a feeling that this is going to come out. It's going to be something special. And Randall Thor, I think everyone knows who that gentleman is. Good friend of this program, good friend of the community. He did a video yesterday speaking about this very specific topic. Rand kind of taking a break from doing some videos, but he's doing the Xbox 2 on Fridays or Saturdays with Jez still, which is great. But with that said, he mentioned something that really no one has talked about. And when I was preparing for this show, I said, it would really behoove me to mention this, because one of the things that he said very specifically in this video is that Microsoft seems to forget that there's a January, February, March, April, and May in each month, each year, because they don't release games then. And now this is an opportunity to release 2 games up front, and then potentially have 2 big bombs at the end of the year, bookending 2023, which we all expect to be a monster year. Now, I don't know if that's what's going to happen. I would like to believe that's what's going to happen, because there are going to be some games that are close to being done if they're not already done. I don't know. I'm not in development, but I want to bring John Wolf into the conversation. John, what are your personal thoughts on this? This was a big blow to Xbox. Like I said, for me personally, as everyone knows me as Mr. Xbox, even though I support everything, specifically all 3 consoles. I felt deflated, man. I felt a bit let down.
I got you, Boom. It's cool. I mean, when I remember, I'll give you a recollection of what happened to me exactly, right? So I woke up wee hours of the morning, went to brush my teeth, get my coffee, sit down, and brother, I open up Twitter and it's the very first thing that I see, right? The little tweet that they put out. And at first I thought, nah, this is just some fanboy stuff, whatever. But man, when I looked
Ante
over,
thought that they got hacked. He said, "This can't be real. 2 games? This can't be real."
No, I mean, I thought it was something created, by some fanboy out there or something. So, but when I saw that it came from Bethesda Game Studios and then the little blue check mark, dude, it was a punch in the gut, because it's this week, Boom, for Xbox centric gamers has been a hell of a PTSD type week with the DRM stuff over the weekend.
Yeah.
And now you get this news here, so it's easy to suffer a little bit from that PTSD from kind of when Xbox was fumbling and stumbling. But I quickly composed myself, quickly realized that the logically thinking, the delays are a good thing, because at the end of the day, we do want polished products. We don't want turds. Okay, so the thing is that I do agree with you, Boom, that it was deflating because of all the hype that was leading to this announcement. This is the last thing that any of us thought. You know what I'm saying? To Crispy's credit, and that's a fantastic point that he brought up. They're putting out these small videos hyping us up. Looking forward. The whole showcase is themed around Starfield. That date is in concrete 11/11. Dude, I mean, like I said, it's the last thing that we thought, but it's very disappointing, because even though I'm gonna bring the smoke a little bit. Microsoft does have, they need to figure this out quick. All right. And what I mean by that is that I'm very happy and very satisfied as an Xbox customer and as an Xbox centric gamer with their direction and with the initiative that Phil has put in place. The direction of the ship, I like where it's going. Now, is there going to be bumps in the road and stuff like that? Of course there is. But one thing that they need to figure out sooner rather than later with all these acquisitions, they need to start releasing some content on a constant basis. Okay, if they want to sustain Game Pass and they want to keep Game Pass growing, okay, as it's been growing, it does need to be supplemented in there with third-party big day and date exclusive games, but we also need their exclusives in there, and they know that better than us. Boom. Okay, so the thing is that I would think that they would have learned already from the Halo Infinite, okay, from the Halo Infinite fiasco, that they had to delay the game by 1 year. And I thought that was the turning point for them to, all right, we learned our lesson here, but apparently not. And again, not to be too harsh, also, I got to be in the middle. Okay, I'm going to be in the middle because I'm a logical thinking person. I understand at the same time that Bethesda was just acquired. The deal closed off last year. This is new territory for Xbox, okay, and for gaming in general, okay. So what I'm hoping is that now they can take what they've learned with this acquisition and with this, and with these release timelines and all this stuff, and they can apply the same thing going forward when that Activision deal closes off. Okay, if you guys are gonna put dates down, you better double down that those dates are gonna be either met, or you don't get fans excited and don't blow smoke up, or you know what. Okay, because the thing is that we, gamers, we do have short memory. I think that by this time, come June 12th, if that's the showcase date, I think it is, right, guys? June 12th.
Yeah,
June 12th, correct.
Yeah, I think that gamers, we are guilty of short-term memory. Okay, we will be hyped again for the show come around there, but they need to get better on this. And I think that Phil, I appreciate his tweet yesterday, but Phil, we're gonna hold you to that tweet. All right,
Indeed.
We're gonna hold you to it. So next time that there's a fumble like this, you better believe that the receipts are gonna be brought out. Okay, and he knows that. Yeah. He knows that. Okay, so now I will say, in the way they did it, Boom, because that was something that you that you're very adamant.
My biggest problem with yesterday's thing was just so nonchalant.
Yeah.
And listen, Bethesda, they're known as marketing masters, right?
Yeah,
Like we're not talking about just Microsoft. It's Bethesda.
Right.
They are the marketing masters. And for them to come out and just be like, here's a thumbnail, a couple of words, an update on Redfall and Starfield thumbnail. I could do that. And I don't have a marketing degree. So if I do that and you're like, man, that sucks, it's because I suck. But Bethesda,
now,
they don't suck.
Look, you're not wrong, Boom. You're not wrong. I can see it. I can see both sides of it. For me personally, the tweet was fine. But that's a me thing. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
We can think differently about it. Would I have liked them to roll out the red carpet? Of course. That's what the problem is, Boom, is that's kind of what I'm used to now by Xbox, rolling out that red carpet. So when they do something like this, it's kind of like, wait a minute, why are you guys going backwards? You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why you feel that way, and I can relate to you. Now, to me, like I said, I'm fine with the tweet. The thing is that going back to what Crispy said, man, the hype train that you guys are building here came to a standstill yesterday. Okay, with that tweet. So there, you're 100% right. But at the same time, right, I'm putting my thinking cap on again, and I'm putting myself in Phil Spencer's shoes. Phil Spencer. I wish I was on camera so I could show you guys right now, hugging everybody in that theater room. Okay, everybody giving hugs, kisses, celebrating. Dude, they're hyping this thing up like if they just saw the second coming of Christ. Okay, so the thing is that we're all eating this up like cake. All right, and then all of a sudden, for them to put out this tweet is that, what the hell were you guys watching? Were you watching Doctor Strange? You know, because apparently when you saw the gameplay of Starfield, there was something going on there that Phil Spencer and Aaron Greenberg probably had to pull Pete Hines and Todd Howard aside and say, hey guys, we got to have a little private meeting here. What's going on? What did you guys just show us right now? And maybe to Pete and Todd Howard, it was acceptable because they're used to the old Bethesda, where the stigma is that they're used to bringing out these kind of buggy games. That is a stigma that they have. But to Phil and company, maybe that's not what they want. It's not good enough. So I can, at the same time, maybe we're being too hard, and we need to appreciate that also about Team Xbox. I could be wrong. It's not damage control. I'm just trying.
No. Listen, dude, we're not going to damage control, and we're not going to be overly critical and harsh to the point of being abusive. That's not what this channel is about. That's not what anyone on this panel is about. But you're entitled to your opinion. I like what you're putting down. Real quick, I got to shout out Lady AF, good friend of the program. She actually just put something into the chat. She said, I lost it. Bloody hell. Here it is. She says, I just saw a rumor on Twitter. Idle Sloth. If you don't know who that gentleman is, he's a good friend of this program. He is an absolute master of news. The guy knows his stuff. He just put out, according to Lady AF, that Hellblade may be dropping this year. And that goes to the DM that I received yesterday, where I can't specifically say who it is, and I wouldn't anyway, but according to this source, Microsoft does have a plan B. Now, that plan B, from what I understand, is first party. I don't know who or what first party, how many first party it is. I personally thought that Contraband's game could be ready. I don't know. I'm not a developer. I'm completely just spitballing here. And there might be one other one. Hellblade would be a great one, to be honest with you. That would really be like, okay, I can now start to breathe a little bit. Now the air has been pumped back into Boom.
Well, I'm glad Lady AF brought that up, and that's that's a great point, Boom, that you're making there, and that's where I'm going. Okay, I'm gonna finish with this. With the bad news that came yesterday, right? Again, putting my thinking cap on, I can imagine too that they probably were in crossroads with their thinking, right? Because Phil's like, all right, either we can put out this tweet now and let this just die down by the time our show comes around, or we can announce the date right after these trailers on our show. And guess what that's going to do, Boom? That's going to take away from the conversation of the show, because everything everybody and their mother and us are going to be talking about is the fact that these games were delayed. It's not going to be about the show.
Yep.
So I respect that. I would have made the same call. I would have said announce it now rather than later during our show, where that's going to be the focal point. And my last point is going to be, boom, they got to make this up now. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm an Xbox consumer. Again, I prefer it. I bring the smoke when I have to. All right, I do it to Sony. I do it to Nintendo. Of course, I'm gonna do it to Xbox. You guys owe us some big titles in Game Pass. That's the bottom line. I don't want to sound like an entitled gamer, but that's the bottom line. Now, the Microsoft that I'm used to will make this up. I would be
they will.
pleasantly surprised if they do not. And I'll end it there, boom.
Okay, well, listen, before I bring in Dreadpool on this, Dreadpool, let me just catch up with some of the super chats that you've been so nice enough to add to the private message so I don't miss them. First one of the day comes to us from Gamers Play. HUD Zero drops an outstanding $2 super chat, and he says, "Good morning, boom. Feels like the Twilight Zone." Indeed, it absolutely does. He drops another additional very generous $2 super chat and says, "Sorry I couldn't be a part of the group next time." Absolutely, brother. You're always welcome here, and thank you for the generosity. RWK_88 drops a $2 super chat and says, "There is no backlog, just getting that out of the way." I mean, I have, my backlog's ridiculous, but I'm addicted to like crazy to Halo. I just hit level 59 this morning. In fact, I was almost late for the show because I was getting my kills on.
Boom, you could say that backlog needs Manscaped, huh?
You could say that. You absolutely could say Manscaped. Gotcha. And if you want to go to manscaped.com and support that company in Double Barrel Gaming, use DBG20 at checkout for your 20% discount as well as free shipping. That's right. They are a sponsor of Double Barrel Gaming. And we did our first commercial, which was hilarious and written by Mag himself. He wrote the second one, and I nearly peed my pants because it is hilarious. We'll be debuting that next Wednesday evening on Primetime Gaming. But thank you for that. The Dusty Uno drops a, oh, he's a new channel member. Dusty, thank you, brother. Definitely super appreciate that. Gamers Play HUD Zero drops an additional $5 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, "I will say my piece. Xbox has to figure out the release schedules and quickly. This pattern's been consistent, and it feels like Xbox One all over again." Yeah, they need consistency, and Phil recognized that. He said it. And I'm glad he said it because we are all thinking it. Kevin Mitchell, good friend of the program, he drops an outstanding $5 super chat, and he says, "Boom, you're putting in overtime this week, man. I appreciate all the hard work. Any word on Stalker 2 will hit in December." The only thing I could say about Stalker 2 from what I have heard, and I don't have a lot of sources, folks. The team themselves are obviously from Ukraine. They had to remove all of their family due to the conflict that's there. From what we understand, the game's development has completely come to a standstill, and that's the last update that I heard. I don't know when that's going to come out. Listen, at this point, all we can do is pray for the poor people of Ukraine and make sure that they're safe, that the dev team is safe, all of their family is safe, and that this conflict soon ends peacefully and everyone kind of goes back to their corner. I don't know if the world is ever going to be the same after this. If you've seen the pictures and the shots of Ukraine, it's like there's nothing left. They're just leveling everything in front of them. It's just awful to see. So when the game comes out, even in Game Pass, I will be buying that game. I'll be buying the maximum edition of that game to support that dev team, their families, and Ukraine. And Mrs. Boom and I will be making a hearty donation to Ukraine once all of the super chats for this month are generated. And obviously, that's something we're going to do privately. But being it's in the conversation, it's something we love doing is helping as much as we can. Let's see. Brett Bingham, good friend of the program, drops an outstanding $5 super chat and says, "I would be shocked if Forza Motorsport doesn't come out this year. Turn 10 has been working on it on Forza Motorsport 7 since before Motorsport 7 launched in 2017. Yeah, they've been at this, and it's the new engine, so it's going to be a big deal." We have Mr. Too Opinionated drops a $2 super chat and says, "The opposite happened, I heard." Well, again, it's all rumors. We'll see. We're 30 days away, brother. We will learn. Bunty, good friend of the program. What's going on, brother? He drops an outstanding $10 super chat and says, "I have to ask everybody down in an Xbox has no games because 2 games is not coming out this year. How many PlayStation games is confirmed? Well, they have 2. They had technically 3. They had MLB The Show, they had Horizon, and they had GT. And we're still waiting whether or not God of War, which I still think that's going to be delayed, man. I really do.
I think so. Boom. Can I address a comment I just saw right now? Boom, real fast.
Sure,
I think look, Xbox, for whoever commented, Xbox didn't make up for Scalebound or Street Fighter V. I don't expect them to make up for this. Did you forget that they purchased Bethesda and Activision Blizzard? Like, I think that's more than making up for it. I think everybody would agree.
I would say that, listen, everyone, John, is entitled to, if that's how he feels, you know what, no harm, no foul. But I think that you need to assess it, because you know what I'm starting to hear, and I hate going off track, but I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. I'd be actually pissed at myself if I didn't say it. The running the running commentary from many people, it has been that Xbox Game Pass isn't worth the money. Pardon the sirens as they go by.
They're coming for you. That's why.
Yeah, they're pissed. Look, let me just say this, folks. If you are on this train that Xbox Game Pass hasn't delivered for you, then I say you just need to save your money and put it away, because Sony is not giving you shit. Pardon my French. Okay, if you're going to tell me, and I'm not going to say who said it. And, he's been very anti-Xbox, and, it's fine. You can be anti whatever you want. I honestly don't care. I'm not making money. Microsoft isn't paying me. But to suggest that your 12-month subscription of Xbox hasn't paid off so far, then you're just straight up lying and you're being a troll. Because look what happened last year. It was hit after hit after hit. This year, okay, they've had no first parties, but they've been packing it with a lot of AA, single A, and indie games that you would have to buy, and you don't have to if you have Xbox Game Pass. So to say that is just someone that's looking to make trouble. And again, it's your opinion. I don't agree with you. I will call you out for it. But let me bring Dreadpool into the conversation. Dreadpool, you didn't get a chance to give your opinion on this. What are your personal feelings about this delay and how it was done?
It figures. that's really what I thought. I didn't, I mean, it just seemed like another, I don't know, like Cyberpunk, where they threw out a little thing out there. Hey, this is what's going on. We're moving it back. Other publishers have done the same thing. Nobody's gotten their panties in a wad. So I don't see a big deal over it. But then again, I'm also not the hugest fan of Starfield. I've always said I'm excited for it. I'm happy for my friends that are super excited for it. I'll play it. It's just I don't have the time to play these kind of games, and I have a fear of No Man's Sky with it. So, and I really will not play No Man's Sky. So when it comes to all that, I don't think it's that big of a deal. And he did follow up with, a little bit better of an explanation, or at least an apology, if you want to call it that. It is what it is. I'd rather have the game, and I know everybody says it, right? We'd rather have the game come out perfect versus having issues. And Bethesda's known to have buggy games, so whether or not, who was mismanaging the information, it still gets the blame on Xbox, right? They always get that screwed up because obviously they can't get everything together. Now, who's lying to who? I'm sure Phil and the other leaders will bring it down and slam the hammer on them. I mean, it is what it is. I've done it myself before, where I've had an inspection that I had to take care of. I literally put myself, right? I put myself in work mode and did not leave for 56 hours. I stayed there nonstop for 56 hours to make sure I met that inspection, and they kept on asking me, are you going to be done? Are you going to be done? Are you going to be done? I told them, I don't know yet. I don't know. But if you don't leave me alone, it won't get done. If you leave me alone, it'll get done. So we don't know if that's a similar situation. Somebody was covering for somebody else, and then finally said, look, we got to put the brakes on here. We're still not meeting the expectations. And, even though we thought we were going to hit it, We need to put the kibosh on it right now and let everybody know before it gets any closer. Because I mean, think about it. What if they waited another 2 weeks? You know what I mean? If we're already in an uproar right now for a month away, what do you think is going to be in 2 weeks if they had said something? What if they had said it during the show and said, "Oh, our apologies. This isn't going to happen. We just won't be able to make these 2 games within the time frame we thought." You know what I mean? So yet again, timing is everything. Messaging is everything, and could they have done better? Yeah, every time, right? Anytime we talk, anytime we put a message out there, anytime we do something, right? Cutting the grass. Could we have done it better? Yes, we always could do it better. Do we want that baseball cut, like they have in the field? Yeah, we could always do that, but guess what? It's hot out there. I'm just going to mow the lawn, hurry up and get it cut, and then get back inside where it's nice and cool and have my sweet tea, So sometimes it is what it is. Myself, I don't see a big deal out of it. I'm just, and they wouldn't have stopped it like that had they not had something. So whether or not it's, what the hell, Hellblade, I don't care. That one there seemed anyway that it was going to be ready to be out soon. And we already know that they've got how many teams, how many games that they hold back every other conference that they've had, or...
Well, that's been the running thing. Hey, listen, we held X, Y, and Z back because we had too many games and we didn't want to show everything. Yeah, I hear you, but
so
yeah,
I don't see it as that big of a deal, And at the same time, I'm not downplaying anybody's feelings that that they should have had something, because we all think what we want. And I was happy for Halo. Was I happy to play it when they first showed it and they were going to release it that way in 2019? Yeah. I was happy for it, but really, in the end, I wasn't happy. I just wanted Halo, and it's going to be the same way. We want this right now, but what if we got what we got now with Halo? Could Halo have waited another year to get co-op, to get Forge? And granted, Forge doesn't always come out during release anyway; it comes out later. But still, it hasn't come out yet. I mean, we're already into season 2. It took too long to get here. So, we got to remember that there's a lot of stuff going on, and what are we willing to accept or not? It's our opinions, and it's, everybody's opinion's wrong, right? My opinion's the only right opinion. And we got to remember that's not how the world works. And
no, I mean, listen.
yeah.
Again, Starfield doesn't ring the bell for you. That's because a lot of time Starfield's going to be one of those games that you're going to have to invest significant time that you just don't have. So we completely understand that. But I think that it's at least for the conversation at hand, the problem isn't so much, again, the delay. You want the game to be the best it could be. That is far from the issue. The issue is now they have dug themselves a giant hole, and they've done that because they have to scramble now to potentially get some third-party help, which we don't know if they're going to do. Right? We don't know if Batman Gotham Knights is going to be in there. Is Evil Dead going to be in there? Is Saints Row going to be in there? As those are 3 specifically, maybe not top tier.
Evil Dead just got released today.
What's that? Oh yeah, well, I'm saying, but I thought it was going to be a stealth drop. Honestly, that's why it was in the thumbnail. I thought that they would do the same thing they did with Tunic. Tunic was announced as not being in a Game Pass, and then it was.
See, so I would rather have that as opposed to anticipating something for years. I'd rather have, hey, by the way, we're ready to show you this, and then within 3 months, we're able to buy the game or play it, and I know at the same time, there's also those that go, I wish I had more time so I can save up for this game. So yet again, we're still in that catch-22. Half the people are going to go one way. There's another half that are going to go the other way. Hey,
Dreadful, let me ask you a question. You think that if Bethesda was still privately owned, Microsoft never makes that acquisition, you think Starfield comes out in November this year because the shareholders are going to push it?
No.
I disagree with that. I think they would. I think that they would have pushed it out this year, and I think that's why going back to the point I made, I think Phil made the shot on that. It's a slippery slope that they're on right now. They want to release quality, and we don't want junk, so it's a slippery slope, and that's the only reason I brought that up.
Well, yet again, another prime example. I had an inspection last week, didn't happen. Why? Somebody failed, and it absolutely had to happen Friday, and it didn't happen. It happened Monday. It is what it is. It's stuff that's outside of our control, and everything was looking proper. Everything was looking like it was going to happen Friday, and Thursday night did not happen. We failed.
I mean, listen, that's again,
and that's applicable.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, listen, the Band-Aid's been ripped off. Now they have to figure out, and we're gonna get into what's next after we get to Fuzzy and John and Web Dave. Fuzzy, let's bring you in on the conversation. You and Dave were nice enough to join me yesterday, and you guys had some amazing points. I'm interested to get your 24-hour later point of view. Like, you've had some time to sit on it. You saw Phil Spencer come out and tweet what he did. Obviously, recognizing both sides of the coin, with having compassion for the team that had to make this call, and also the fans like us that are just straight up disappointed with this. What are your thoughts today?
Well, appreciate Phil chiming in on the ordeal and stuff like that. It's good to see, and he's a stand-up guy in that sense. I still would have liked to have seen more from the team. Not necessarily, they don't have to, cry and apologize type of thing, but I kind of look at it in hindsight, and I think, and this is going to probably sound crazy, and I know a few people in the community disagree with this, but I kind of feel that they should have did a surprise drop of gameplay of both games. If there's anything ready, or if there was anything that was to be held for the showcase, do it yesterday, show the game, with the stipulation at the end that because we need more time to polish, or whatever, however they want to spin that the delay reasoning or whatnot, after showing that gameplay, let everybody know. So at least, one, get it out of the way from the showcase, separated from the showcase, because now you've kind of deflated the showcase. Like, yeah, people still want to see gameplay of both games, but if it's taking up time in a showcase, it's like an hour and a half or 2 hours, it kind of feels like a wasted space or wasted spot, at least to me, only because it's not going to come out anytime sooner. And I would rather have that space reserved for things that are, one, either coming out later this year, or things that are even further out that are the, roadmap for beyond 2022 or 2023 type of thing. But I think, just from my standpoint, had they did some sort of surprise news, hey, here's some gameplay, give a little bit of a inkling of stuff that they know is not going to, hit the chopping or cutting room floor type of thing, like the things that are like key to the game that are already ready to be shown. Go ahead and show those. Apologize for, the delay, but as we, moving forward with these, next gen, tools and blah, 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 we've decided to postpone this a little bit longer, just to make sure that we can deliver on your expectations type of thing. And I think it would have been less of a blow. Sure, people would have been like, oh, you showed me the game and now you're still delaying it. But I think it wouldn't have been as much of a slight per se. But yeah, I outside of that, I think right now, and I said it yesterday, if they didn't have a backup plan, Phil and Sarah need to be on their phones with every third party studio or dev team out there, just from the standpoint of, okay, fill in the gap from now to the holiday for Game Pass, whether it be a day and date of, Need for Speed or Saints Row or Gotham Knights, anything along those lines. Go ahead and cut that check. I mean, because you don't want to have that lull in the subscription service. Like, yes, there are plenty of games in the subscription service, and there are plenty of like indie games that people are looking forward to, like Somerville, like Replaced, and things like that still might make it towards the end of this year. And same thing with Scorn. But at least have something that, yeah, it may not be as drawer worthy as like a Starfield or something along those lines, but at least have those things to make people not consider letting their subscription expire until Starfield has an official date or whatever the case may be. That's all I really have on it. I mean, they've I've kind of come to the acceptance aspect of it, like we talked about earlier. If there's L's to be had, no one here, I don't think, would have thought that Starfield was going to be delayed. We kind of had a gut feeling, Redfall may be delayed because it's been like the 11th hour for weeks now to the point where it's like, well, they haven't mentioned a delay yet, but still no gameplay, still no more words. So, yeah, I think at this point, hopefully the show for June 12th, my excitement's a little deflated for it, but I'm curious to see Motorsport. I'm hoping Motorsport comes out this year. I mean, if it needs a delay, I'm not going to be the happiest.
To really be it's going to compound everything to the point of, man, it's again, I'm all about optics, folks, and the optics for what's going on. It doesn't look good. I'm not, like I said, I'm not being overly critical to be an a-hole. Mm-hmm. I'm being a fan. I expect a certain cadence for Xbox to release games. If I'm wrong for that, then I'm wrong for that. But I expect a certain amount of. You know what? Here's the thing, folks, and this is where I get a little critical. We have been saying for years, wait until next E3, wait until next year. How many years is this going to happen? How many years are we going to be sitting? Oh, well, we had 6 other games to show, but we kind of held those back. Listen, man, I'm sorry. If I'm a D for saying that, then I'll just be a big old D. Because there are limitations to the patience of gamers. And you just have to get it right at some point. And I'm not taking anything away from what Microsoft has done. For crying out loud, I have 2 Microsoft Xbox shows dedicated to the brand each and every week. So it's my favorite brand. So you know what? As a consumer, I can be critical. And still maintain dignity and respect for everyone over at Xbox, and that's what I'm doing now. Dave, let's get your opinion on this before we move on to what's next. Now, what do they do? What do you guys want to see them how respond in less than 30 days? Well, less than a month. It's 30 days now as of today. Dave, you had a chance to sit back on it. You had some big opinions yesterday. Have any of those opinions increased because of what's happened, or have you had a time to stew on it a bit?
I have had time to stew on it for sure, and I have watched a lot of other great content providers and their shows and their opinions. Watched PM and the PM last night. Colt Eastwood did a special show.
Colt Eastwood did a great one. PM and the PM were fantastic. Yep.
Yeah. So I jumped in and watched those, and and I listened to what they had to say, and a lot of the same points we brought up, a lot of good things. First, I got to say, Dreadpool, after the show, I need to talk to you about some lawn care tips. We'll get to that. But anyway, sorry. The thing that John brought it up, he said that haven't they kind of learned a lesson with Halo and things like that, and I kind of think that I think they did learn the lesson, and maybe that's why they've delayed it. Maybe there's got to be a reason, because they were gung-ho with that date. They put the date out there. Todd Howard was ready for it. He had all the confidence in the world that they were going to hit that mark. And, I know people don't like to hear the excuse of the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that that's the 100% everything that's going on, but, it does play a part in every game studio's the way they get things out. And you can say, well, Sony got out, their big game, Forbidden West, but is it in the best shape it could have been when it came out? No, not by a long shot. Not necessarily that that Starfield would have been, unacceptable in the condition it would come out in, but man, they They have to make a point. They want to make a point. They, it's a good call in the long run. I know Boom hates it. I hate it. Everybody on this panel absolutely like, what are they thinking? What's going on? Who, a lot of people in the chat saying, are they mismanaging, or Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing and blah. I don't think any of that's true. I think that they have a handle on things because of the management that's in place now. They would rather put out a quality product that's going to carry them in, to the future, because they want to be the market leaders. And the way to do that is to have good quality product, like Sony has in the past, with some of their titles that, like Boom has said, are some of the best, games out there that he's played. God of War is an amazing game, but, let's let Microsoft, like I said, I want it now. I want it like yesterday. I don't want to wait. But, in the long run, if it comes out in a year from now or 6 months from now and it's still crappy, garbagey, tweaky, bad, then I'd say, okay, now what's going on? But if it comes out and it's like a masterpiece or at least a juggernaut of great gameplay, then I'm saying it's worth it. It's going to be worth it for all of us. And I do agree that there's probably a lot of things that they have that we don't know about or people are speculating about. If you want to take a trip down speculation town, which, a small little detour, but, could this be something that they've when they got to their little meeting they had like a couple of weeks ago, or last week, maybe they're like, you know what, if we did this and we did this, this could set us up for bigger, and there could be the possibility that this other deal, the acquisition, is further along than we thought, and that by doing these quote unquote delays, they felt confident they could do the delays because they have some other big things coming at us. They hit us hard. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah,
wishful thinking maybe, but
no,
what, Boom? I am
Dave, but you want to know what I'll add to your point there, Dave? I'll add that I just wish that Microsoft would take a little bit from Sony's marketing and they would spin in a marketing way the bad news with some good news. They would supplement it, because Sony are masters at that, right? Like when they released that Miles Morales trailer, coming exclusively for PS5, what did they do? They stealth dropped that little PS4 logo on the bottom.
Right.
Okay.
You're right.
Or if I remember correctly, I think they put it on their blog. I don't remember off the top of my head.
But John, I gotta say, man, I don't want Microsoft to be Sony.
No,
in
that's
every
not.
way. And I know what you're saying. You're talking about, but what's to say that this drop now, this information of bad news now, in a month isn't going to be like, holy crap, look what they did for us now.
I got you. I got you, Dave. But again,
let's wait and see.
I got you, Dave. But I'm putting myself in the CEO chairs. Oh, I'm putting myself in Phil Spencer's shoes. You don't want this conversation to be the lead stories. Okay, that's the problem.
You also
don't
want
sometimes you have to have the bad news out there, and sometimes when it's coming or not, you have to get it out there to get through it. And if it's not out there, or if it's lagging, or if it's surprise, we screwed up,
what though?
Then you could be in trouble.
Dave, you're 100% right, but of course, there's a way to go out and do it. And you know what? John brought up Sony, so I'm going to bring up Sony now.
There you go.
And I'm going to say something that, look, a couple of weeks ago, what happened? Right, Corey Barlog, producer of God of War 2018. What did Sony Santa Monica and him do? They made a 4.5 minute, 5-minute video. He comes out and he says, listen, we know that we've been radio silence with God of War, and we hear the community. You want to see it, and we want to show it, but the game isn't ready to be shown. But I promise you, when that game is ready to be shown, we are going to blow your socks off. You see, if Todd Howard comes out, because not Pete Hines. Pete Hines is, I love Pete. I think Pete is an energetic human being, and when he's on stage, I don't pause. I want to hear everything he has to say. But this is Todd Howard's baby. This is Todd Howard's baby. He has got to get out there in front of the camera, speaking to the people and saying, hey, We've been selling you guys Starfield. You've been selling you guys this dream that I have had, the team has had, that we're building right now. And I know that we've been putting out these vid docs, and everyone is excited. Everyone is talking about this. But you know what? The team needs time. And the game isn't where I feel, as the producer, comfortable on delivering. You do that, we're not even having this conversation, because he came face forward and said, yes, there is a delay. But you know something? We're doing it to give you the best experience possible. Don't do it with, hey, an update with these 2 games and a thumbnail. That's BS. That's something that I don't have a marketing degree, and I wouldn't freaking do that.
Yeah, Sony wouldn't do that
Agreed.
either.
So if Sony is not going to do it, Microsoft shouldn't do it either, because they are positioning themselves right now as we speak to be the market leader, to take that title away from Sony. That yesterday's explanation, that's not the way you do it. I'm sorry.
And you know what? That is definitely 100%. I agree that I feel like it should have been definitely more explained and more in depth and more brought out. But in the big scheme of things, and of course, you know, this is what the show is about. We're talking, we're getting our feelings and our opinions out and everything, and I love it.
Yeah.
And that's what the best thing is about this, you know. But then again, you know, in 4 weeks, when they have this
Dave,
show,
you are on to it, brother. You are on to
have?
something super special,
Yep.
because in 4 weeks,
happen.
you might be onto something where this conversation is going to be a moot point.
Maybe.
Because
I
they
hope.
have just blown our socks off.
I hope.
Yeah, no.
Oh, wait.
I love what you're putting down, brother. 100%.
Sounds like somebody's coming around, huh?
No, listen, the reality is that they are going to show us something. I have heard, and even Idle Sloth has backed me up, and we don't have the same source. I don't know who he has. He doesn't know who I have, but he's hearing that their plan B might very well be Hellblade 2, which that would be freaking awesome. I mean, that would be absolutely, again, completely wiping away the bad news with this incredible good news. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I don't want to hype myself up and be disappointed. I know that. Look, here's the thing, guys, and chat. First of all, by the way, we got almost 500 people here.
Welcome,
which
everybody.
Is bonkers.
Hit those thumbs up, guys.
Welcome, guys.
If you are just finding the channel and you appreciate the honesty and the passion that goes into putting these shows together, this is Double Barrel Gaming. I'm Mr. BoomStick XL. Give me a sub. Hit that alert button so you know when I put out content. And I do 4 live shows per week. And if you're already a fan, if you're already someone that supports the channel through your views, hit the like button and help us navigate this ridiculous algorithm known as YouTube, for sure. That would be greatly appreciated. But here is my statement, and I want to get everyone's opinion, because everyone's had a chance to talk. What's next, right? And I say that to say, in Dreadpool, we're going to get to your topic, because your topic is incredibly important, and it does kind of dull the flame a little bit, because if they do this, and I think they're going to do it because of the Patten, they did it in the 360. It's going to be a big deal for gamers on a budget. But the reason why this news is so compounded, the reason why I have unbelievable concern, is because Microsoft finds themselves in a very, very unique position. Last year's show was a 10 out of 10. They hit on every cylinder possible, right? No doubt about it. They hit on every cylinder. Everyone that is an Xbox fan is expecting them to produce a 11 out of 10. They're expecting a high 11. Now, this particular news does deflate a lot of people. Deflated me, completely took the air out of the room. And now they have to deliver a second half that is comparable to what they just delayed. And they have to do that on the fact that they have to, come forward and deliver a show bigger, or at least as good as the last show from 2020, from 2021. Man, that's a freaking steep hill Now, can they do it? Sure. I absolutely believe they can do it. But it's still, man, it's a slippery slope. I want to go back all the way around to Crispy Bomb on this. Crispy, what's next, brother? And do you feel the same way I do? Do you think that now they have maybe painted themselves into a corner? Are they going to have to really surprise us with a big announcement to replace these two big games?
I think they absolutely have to. I mean, the corner has been painted. They are boxed in. You're gonna have to, beat the brakes off the wall to get out. The one thing we got to say, there are games that are coming for Game Pass. Let's not forget that. You have 100%. Deathloop, okay, in all instances.
Age of Empires 4 is supposedly releasing this year as well for console.
Yeah, you got Plague's Tale that's supposed to come out this
Plague's
year.
Tale is a June, supposedly. Yes, absolutely.
Scorn as well. So it's not like we don't have games coming out. We just want that first party, banger, at least one. Now, a lot of people are speculating that's Forza. That's fine. Not my cup of tea. Like, I'll play Horizon. I ain't touching the sim racers. I just don't do it no more. Mm-hmm. The one thing I'm looking at is the games that they've kind of teased but not really talked about. You got your Fables. You got your Avowed. You have games that look ready, like Hellblade 2. There are a lot of games that aren't announced yet. You have Indiana Jones is just chilling there, Contraband. What could they possibly bring out? Now, Hellblade.
Well, what about Compulsion's game, right?
That
we don't. That's another one they've been working on it since 2018.
So there are teams that are able to churn out a game in 3 years. Like, you could say what you want, but you have the coalition that's done it forever. It feels like, what I mean. And now they're going to have this cooking time for Gear 6. Yeah. So what are they working on in the meantime? Because they don't need 6 years to do it. You know what I mean? They can do it in 3, and they've consistently had an 80. You know what I mean? So, it's a quality game. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a quality game. I mean, even a 70 that's not buggy is still considered a quality game. Just might not be your cup of tea. The point is that there are so many games that they've teased over the past, I'd say 3 to 4 shows. And there's at least, I'd say, 10 titles that kind of haven't been really talked about. And, the emphasis on gameplay from us gamers at this point. I mean, at the least, I feel like we're going to see more gameplay in a show than we've probably ever had. I think that would be a start. And I think surprise us. Say Avowed's coming out at the end of this year. Even if you got games that are going to come out in January, that's something. You know what I mean? So we're looking for dates. But if you don't know, then we'll take spring 2023. We take that. When you give us a hard date, that's when we have a problem. So if you're going to give us a hard date, Xbox, you better deliver it. All right? Because if you have any inkling that you need to delay this, you better just put a time frame. It'll come out next year. Okay? Sony's done this many times, and it's been acceptable. You know what I mean? Oh, God of War, was supposed to come out a year and a half ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about it. So, just don't give us that hard date unless you're absolutely sure. And I think that's a start on the right direction to, give us what we're looking for, and the transparency and honesty. Sometimes it gets convoluted when you do stuff like this. Like you're 11-11. That's what, and then it's like, no. And it's like, aren't most of the show supposed to be about Starfield? So are they still going to show us gameplay and we're still going to have to wait like 6 months, 8 months? Like, you know what I mean? So that's what I wish for it. And like I said, there are a lot of games that have just been hanging out, and they've had like 3+ years, a lot of them. So, we'll see.
Yeah, no, real quick, let me just catch up on some of the super chats. First of all, we have a comment from James176, who has been a supporter of the channel for 24 months. He says, hope everyone has a great weekend. Indeed, James, welcome to the program. And of course, we hope that you have an awesome weekend as well. We also have Black Helmet Man, who's been a member for 9 months. Thank you for the support, brother. He says, maybe they need to stop setting dates and release windows until they know for sure. Absolutely. And we have a $2 super chat come in from JC Carla Moreau, who drops an outstanding $2 super chat and says they want to be Toyota, not Yugo quality. That's a good one. And here's something that's interesting. Arigato, sir, drops an outstanding $5 super chat. But it's what they say that makes a lot of sense, and once again moves the spotlight onto why Bethesda didn't do this. He says this: even Nintendo didn't do that. The director of Zelda came out in a video and told us that the game needed time. What Xbox did was spineless. Love the show. I spineless, man. That I hear what you're saying. That's tough. Spineless is tough. Was it inappropriate? Yes, that I 100% agree. Dread, let's bring you in on the conversation, brother. What do they do next, dude? Like, like Crispy and I said, I think they've painted themselves into a bit of a corner. They have to deliver on this show, because if they don't, this is now, I mean, it's going to be about a month of bad news. You had the DRM situation, then you had this delay, and if your show is anything but stellar, it is going to be a problem. What do they do next, bro?
Well, they make Game Pass free to everybody. I don't know. I mean, they have to push something out there. Like I said, they've got games out there that we know that we don't know of. They got to show us something, and hopefully nothing where it's years in the making still. Hopefully it's something soon. I'd rather have something that's, like I said before, I'd rather have something that's coming out within the next 6 to 3 months, even a year, if that, because at least even if they say a year, because anything can happen in a year. So let's not push it that far back, but let's push it where we know we're going to get something, but we don't know yet. Again, like Crispy had said, we don't want a hard date on this stuff, right? So don't give us hard dates. Just say, hey, it should be around, even if you ballpark it, the season, and we should be happy, because at least if we hit it at the end of the season or the beginning of the season, who cares? It's within what you said, but show us good gameplay of good games that we want to see, that we don't even know we want to see. That's the best part, right? When you get surprised with another game that you had no idea of that you want to play. Just you're like, oh wow, I didn't know about this. I want to play this now, right? That's how we all are when we see these games. And yet again, I don't want to see something 5 years in the making, because I don't want to sit there 5 years later going, man, I hope I play this game before I die. But they gotta perform.
That's so dark, Dread.
I'm just saying, man, it's getting to the point where they're pushing them back 6 years and they're still getting delayed.
Listen, before I go, Lord, let me play X game. That's awesome.
I mean, that's the gamer in me, right? I want to play the game before I die. But still, I want to see stuff like this, right? You cannot make up, right? Everybody's saying they need to make up for Starfield not being there. You can't make it up. You can't make up Starfield not being there. Otherwise, it would be Starfield.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? So there is no making up. Take the show for what it is. Quit hyping yourselves up over, oh, I want to see this, I want to see that. Have the wants, but don't get those expectations up there, and be surprised with what they show you. Let it happen. Naturally. Don't be like, well, they didn't show this, so it ruined my show. Well, it wasn't your show in the first place. It's their show, and they ruined their show. They didn't ruin your show. They need to promote their show in the best light possible, and that's doing the right thing the right way, giving us gameplay, giving us information, when to expect things, showing new things like what we're going to talk about in the future, and stuff like that, just so we know what's on, because everybody wants to know what's on the roadmap, right? It's a short roadmap. We don't want to know what's 20 years down the line. We want to know what's coming up now. We want to know what's coming up in the next minute, right? We know we're around the corner. We don't want to know what's around 3-4 corners, 3 hours from now, when we're driving. We want to know what's around the bend here. That's what we want. We want something that'll excite us, that'll get us happy, and anticipate when this whatever game that they're going to show us, anticipate the future, right? So we can get into it and have good stuff, right? We want to see what we want to see. So I think if they just show us a lot of games, keep the talking to a minimum, You know, I get it if you want to present. I get it if you want to have the devs talk. Put that to the side. Just give us a show and then give us the after show with all that extra stuff. You know, present the game.
Something
Here you
similar to what
go.
they did last year. That
Yeah.
that sit down with Paris was awesome.
That was great.
That was really good. Yeah.
It was a little long at times, and I love Paris, but it was a little long at times, and it wasn't his fault. You know what I mean? It was the way it was orchestrated. You know, everybody likes to put the blame on one person. It's a full team effort. There's other people making some certain choices that are above other people. You know, when you have presenters, and you're like, man, this presenter sucked because well, they're reading off the teleprompter. So you know, when they go into their ad lib, that's when they're themselves. So as long as they do something that's entertaining to the point of let's not use what they have like chocolate milk being splashed because they're driving in a car and whatever that stupid thing was that they were doing. You know what I mean? So don't do that stuff.
That is
That was
unlikely.
cringe.
I don't think
I
you'd
don't
ever
think they're
see
going to
that.
do that again.
Yeah.
I don't think that. So, but yet again, it's keep that in mind. Don't do this stupid stuff. Don't be try to be cheeky and all that. It's just cringe.
Yeah.
Just
No.
get it out there, get the information, make it nice and quick, get us hyped, and then if there's anything more you want to talk about it, put it to the side. Let us go find it after the show. Let us
Yeah.
absorb the show as it is and go from there. You know,
It's got to be 90 minutes of just games.
yeah, just blow us away.
And first party games. And you know what? Again, I know a lot of people getting in their feelings about the whole CD trail, the CG trailer thing. I hear you. I don't mind CG trailer for a game that's many years out, but at this point, they have so many games that are in development that they could the gameplay is going to have to be the topic of discussion for sure.
Yeah,
We need gameplay for everything.
Blitzkrieg us with games. That's
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, absolutely. AJ Harris drops an outstanding and very generous $5 super chat and says, "Everyone out here talking about Starfield delay, and I'm over like I want to know more about Hellblade 2." And he's right. And if you missed it, AJ, according to Idle Sloth, who is a fantastic community member, it was brought to our attention by Lady AF, who in her own right is an outstanding member of this community, said that he heard from a source, and take it, grain of salt, folks, that that the replacement, the plan B that I have heard that Microsoft has is Hellblade will be releasing this year. Is that true? I don't know. But let's get Fuzzy Belvedere's opinion on this. Fuzzy, this is they have a tough road ahead. They have to figure out how to deliver a show better than last year on the cusp of 2 monster delays. How do they do it?
Well, hopefully, like what Rand had hinted to on PM in the PM show a couple of weeks back, with all teams having something to submit. Hopefully, we get to see a lot more of these projects that we just know like the project name of, although who knows how far along those are. But I'm really curious to see Compulsions in game. I'm hoping it finally makes an appearance. Even I would prefer it not be CGI, but even if it's just CGI, I would at least want to see what the direction or what the idea is behind that. Hoping to hear some more updates from Everwild. I mean, yes, I know they showed us this beautiful trailer a couple of years ago, and then they're like, we don't know what this game is. And they're kind of figuring that stuff out as they go, which I always said it should be like, you're helping nature and there's corrupted zones and you have to cleanse those zones and whatnot. But who knows? They're devs. They're better at this than I'll ever be. So hopefully there's some sort of update on them having a more of a direction or idea of where, the gameplay loop will, hook us type of thing. Motorsport has to deliver. Like we all remember how, Forza Horizon 5 delivered last year and it's like, oh, we're looking at a picture of, somewhere in Mexico. No, that's the game as the car goes flying by. They need to pull that same level of detail and wow and excitement that Horizon did last year. And then anything else they have in the upcoming months, or that is, still on time for 2023. But I have to believe they will deliver I won't say a 10 out of a 10 show. Like and if it wasn't for the bad news, it'll probably be a 10 out of 10. An 11 out of 10, it's hard to say. I think that it's possible, but I think the bad news, at least for me, deflates at least 2 points just because it's two games that were like, one at least was a main highlight, and the other one was like a curiosity. With me being a looter shooter fan, especially with Division now kind of coming back to life, I think they basically have to bring their A game. Maybe throw in Ubisoft Plus.
That'd be a big one. A lot of people have been actually calling for that. They said that would be and at no extra cost.
Yeah, if they do a no extra cost, and I know a lot of people probably already own the Ubisoft games that they would play anyway, but there's that potential, because I know they said they are finally actually putting resources towards making a Splinter Cell. I don't know how far along that is. I know in the
remake.
past there's been a completed
supposedly
game.
It's been in development for quite a bit. So
yeah, so if that game could turn around and that be the exclusive thing, and you hear the the goggle sound, maybe just maybe, that's the pie in the sky dream. But yeah, I think they'll definitely be able to deliver a 10 out of 10. For me, outside the bad news, that's a little bit of a taller order, but just focusing on the show, I think it will still be a home run in regards to what's coming down the pipeline. But I'm hoping they're on that phone with all these third parties. I mean, they're about to acquire, Activision Blizzard, and I know they can't technically break a deal on a company they don't own yet, type of thing, where Sony already has the marketing rights. But was that one of those marketing deals where they actually have in the contract you can't have it on the streaming service?
I
don't
they did
that
they
on
can.
like
They have the marketing to 2024. I think that is something. Even if Microsoft already owned them, I don't think that they could do that. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a marketing manager, so I don't really know. But I was under the understanding that is a Sony deal that they are honoring until the deal is up, and their deal is supposedly up in 2024.
Yeah, but hopefully we'll see, because there's so much stuff that Embracer Group is doing. Like you got Saints Row, you got a few
And
other
Microsoft has a good relationship with Embracer, by the way.
Yeah, so I think we see some third parties to kind of lessen some of the the salt, I guess you could say, for the stuff not showing. But I think it's still going to be a good show, just not as great. Maybe they should change the artwork at this point.
Yeah, it really was being pushed as the lead dog, as they would if you're dog sledding kind of a fan. The lead dog would be Starfield. That was the lead dog. Unfortunately, that's not in fact the case anymore. But it's still not going to take excitement away from me. I want to see what the game looks like. I want to see what the game is. Hopefully, they're going to still show it. Let me bring in John Wolf, and then and let me catch up with some of the super chats, John. First one comes to us from Brett Bingham. He drops an outstanding $20 super chat, and he says, "What if Starfield doesn't need time? So why would Bethesda issue a statement? Could they have pushed it back for other releases?" And I'm assuming he's saying Q1, Q2 is often a dead release window. Perhaps Starfield solves that problem. I mean, you have a great point. The problem is that they have been pushing all year long little dribs and drabs. They've been putting out, hey, this is going to be your companion while you're on the ship. Hey, this is what the races look like. This is what the religion and some of the culture looks like. Oh, by the way, 2 weeks ago they showed us, they let us listen in on how the symphony is making the sound. It's everything leading up to this delay. Before it was announced, had us all believing that the game was ready to rock and roll. And then they pulled the rug out from under us. So again, you might be onto something. Maybe they want to release it for, a first or second quarter. The problem with that is that this year, since last year, was built on Starfield releasing. So I don't necessarily know if that in fact is the case. DJ Birdo DOS drops an outstanding and very generous $10 super chat and says, I also laughed when Dreadpool said that he hopes he doesn't die before the game comes out. You never lie, brother. We all be thinking it. This has to go down in history as one of the best BWBs. Thank you, brother. That is very kind of you to say. I'm having a blast. We have record numbers today, and we have a monster topic. And everyone in the chat is chatting it up, which is great. And we got to get rid of this other man. You turn around and you try to, YouTube sucks sometimes because as many rules as they put forward, they don't protect us from pieces of shit. Pardon my French, like this. Cam's crap that keeps coming on. Anyone that's a mod, if you see it, just ban them. And they're going to come back. They're going to be back momentarily. Just keep banning them. And I keep reporting them. And, well, YouTube takes it. Don't forget to take that 30%. That's what sucks. Sith Lord, good friend of the program, drops a $5 super chat and says, could be worse. I'm still waiting for Metro Prime 4. A logo was shown a lifetime ago, and it still isn't out. Where is that game, Nintendo? Dude, that's a fantastic point. John, let's get your opinion on this. What do they do, man? What how do they respond to the fan base? I'm not saying they have to make it better. That we're not owed anything, right? But we have to be respected. And
exactly.
So how do they deliver a big show on the cusp of this bad news? And what do they replace these two games with?
Well, the replacements are easy, Boom. They got to look across the board. Whatever AAA titles have any chance of releasing this year, they got to gobble those up as soon as possible, right? I expect that Sarah Bond's fingers must be really sore from, dialing so many numbers to all these companies. Okay, so I'm sure she was reaching out to a lot of these partners, seeing what they can bag. I would almost guarantee that. Again, not to sound entitled, as I mentioned earlier, it's just the bottom line. 2 games are out. 2 games need to be replaced. I am a consumer. That's what I was expecting for my money. So I would think that they know that they need to do that. They're not dumb. They know that they need to do that. So I would definitely gobble up the Gotham Knights out there of the world. If you guys want to bring in, I just off the top of my head I can't remember right now, but definitely 2 to 3 AAA titles to replenish this. Now, as far as the show goes, Boom, this year more than anything, in order, in my opinion, to ante up what they did last year, they're gonna have to show gameplay for a lot of these titles that they announced. Okay, it's what's expected. It's what they need to release so that they can at least give that goodwill that these games are coming along fine. Okay, because right now the perception is that they don't have their house in order. So they need to show that they do have their house in order, and they need to show gameplay for Fable, if possible. Obviously, Avowed, if possible. All the big titles. They need to show Forza, even if it's not coming out this year, which hopefully it will. But even if it's not, show it in a good way, and show all the progress that all these wonderful teams are making, because a stigma that's out there, and I see it a lot, all right, and I'm sure you guys do as well, and everybody listening on the chat, is that Xbox just keeps on buying stuff, but they're not doing anything with it. Okay, they're hoarders. Okay, they're just collecting and storing it away in their garage. No, they need to start showing the fruits of the labor here, and they need to pump their chest out a little bit and say, hey, look at all the progress we've made on all these titles that are upcoming for us. We want to get you guys excited, so that right then and there, whoever's watching that's not subscribed to Game Pass has a reason to do so. Okay, and has a reason to invest in the Xbox ecosystem, and it helps their position. Boom, like you mentioned earlier on, they are, if their goal is not to be number 1, then I don't know why they're in the game. Okay, so their goal, brother. Okay, their goal needs to be number 1. I think that's what the teams, and I think that everybody believes that's what the team Xbox is after, being the number 1 position. So they need to tidy up when it comes to those things. And for the show to deliver, for me personally, I want to see gameplay. I want to feel good about what these teams are bringing out. I want to feel good as an Xbox consumer that I have stuff to look forward to. And these games, they need to show the promise of the vision that Xbox has set up here. Okay, that there's going to be great quality content coming at a nonstop pace to Game Pass. It's the reason we're subscribed. It's the reason why we market this stuff more than Xbox does. Boom. Us, nobodies. We market this to everybody that wants to, that has ears. Okay, how great Game Pass is. So keep on giving us the reason to do so. Now that they haven't, and what they announced yesterday doesn't take away everything they've done. I don't want to be a what have you done for me lately, okay, type of person. But again, I'm a consumer. I'm paying my money. So in order for me to continue doing so, you need to show good faith, and that trust, that handshake needs to be there always. Okay. So that's what I think that they need to do in order to maintain stability, maintain the engagement that they have been able to acquire this generation. That was the problem with last gen, right? The engagement wasn't there with the Xbox brand. They were the laughing stock. Okay, everybody loved to kick the dog while I was down. Boom.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, it can't be that way, because now if these things can pile up, that's why I think it's so important for people to understand we're not overreacting here. We're just letting them know, hey, you don't want it to get to a point where now you're being dogpiled, okay? And now it's just one thing after another, because that's not good for the brand. All right. So again, get your stuff together. Everybody has mistakes. Everybody has fumbles. Everybody trips over their feet. Just, all right, set the course again. Let's get back on course here, guys, and give us something to boast about after that presentation. Make us be happy when that automatic charge comes out of our account at the end of the month.
Yeah, 100%. Real quick, Daniel McGee says something in the chat that's pretty interesting. He says Xbox has been doing so well lately, so it's extra disappointing to see them stumble. Indeed. We also have here Y9 Power. What's going on, brother? Welcome back. He says this. I remember when Phil didn't want to announce games so far out until that they were done, but the podcasters, and of course he's talking about us, are a little guilty of asking, give us something, so the fans have to take some of the blame. Nah, listen, dude, I hear you, but I didn't, you never heard me say, Todd Howard, I need a date. Todd Howard came out with the chest out and was like, check out this trailer, and at the end of the trailer, it's 11/11/22. I didn't tell them to do that. They were confident enough, which, by the way, let's just take a step back here. That was last June. And I'm no mathematician, folks, by any stretch of the truth. But June to January is 6 months, right? From January to November is an additional 11 months. That's 17 months that you had a chance to finish this game. Now, I'm not taking away from COVID. I wouldn't even go see Doctor Strange because of COVID. So I understand trying to actually build something as big as Starfield. It's got to be challenging. No one's taken away from that. But at the same time, they set that date. And they set that date because they were confident that the 17 months or 16 months ahead of them, they were going to be able to deliver. And now, on top of that 17 months, we have the remainder of the year, which doesn't count. And you have the middle of next year, which could be an additional 16 months. So that at the end of the day, it's going to be nearly 2 extra years of work. Now, if that's what it takes to deliver a AAA, high caliber, no bug Bethesda game, I'm willing to wait. Again, my problem wasn't the delay. My problem is now what now? Because without anything, if the year finishes the way it is right now, with no first party games outside of Deathloop and Age of Empires 4. Man, that's a lost year for Microsoft, and they know that. They know it. Dave, let's get your opinion on this, brother. What's next? How do they respond? What do they replace these 2 monster new IPs from Bethesda with?
Well, you started off with saying, did Microsoft paint themselves in a corner?
Mm-hmm.
And they damn well could have painted themselves in a corner. but can they basically set themselves up for a big home run?
Yep.
I think they can.
Yeah,
I think
yep.
that they've got enough IPs. They've got enough, games in development that they can definitely, elaborate on games that we know are coming out, games that we know are in the works, games that we have no clue about that they could just drop a surprise on us. Whether it's a AAA or a smaller indie type size game, that could be. But I'm good with that. I mean, there's so much out there and so much stuff that they can bring to this. I mean, they've talked about, is there going to be a new streaming stick? Is there going to be some kind of new device for that? Or are they going to go into more about this, the cloud gaming and what they were able to do, for these other services that have now opened the door up for what they could do next. I mean, that is a big possibility and a lot of things they can talk about. And of course, there's a lot of other rumors and acquisitions and things that they could be, teasing and hinting at. Plus, we know that they have been working really hard, in Japan, to work on a lot of titles there. They're coming into Game Pass and encouraging developers there. And they've taken on a lot of indie developers in Japan. And those are some of the things that they could be like, hey, guess this is, last year we told you about this. Well, now this is where they're at now. I mean, not necessarily it's going to be a big, huge chunk, but every little bit starts to add up to, to put together maybe an amazing show. Sarah Bond's been making some trips over to Japan too. She's been, like you said, hopefully on the phone making these calls, and maybe we're going to get a lot of these, exclusive, not to say exclusive, but maybe, at least day and date. If it's day and date and Game Pass, there's going to be a lot of happy campers out there. If there's some other, games that have been out there for a little while, they're like, okay, and now they're coming to Game Pass, and what about Ubisoft and the things that they're going to bring to the table that, we know are going to be coming to the Xbox system. So I feel like there's a silver lining in all this.
I agree with you.
And
Yeah.
maybe the show isn't gonna be, and maybe they will say, we expect the game to come out, 3 months, into the early, next year, not necessarily all the way to November of next year, but it could be.
I
But
mean,
we
there's
don't
some
know.
people that believe that this is going to be holiday next year, which would be devastating.
That would be
in fact,
bad.
yeah.
I agree with you. That would suck. But in the long run, as bad as it is and the bad taste it leaves in your mouth, when that game does come out, it better be damn good. It better be on fire, because we've given them the time to make it the best game it can be. So, and like I said, as a bitter pill as it is for all of us to swallow now, and it is, trust me. Some people are thinking, saying in the chat, maybe Dave's a little too positive about this, but I'm looking at the big picture for all of us as gamers, and we love this. Oh man, we love this community. We love these games, and I feel like Microsoft does have a plan B, and that Phil has got himself, obviously he's got himself in a corner, but in the end, he probably helped make that decision of like, you know what, we need to do this. And because we're going to do this, because we're going to delay these two big games that were coming out at the end of the year, now this is what we can do going forward. This is what we can do to make up for that, because he's always been, since he's taken his position originally at Microsoft and started growing, he has righted the ship. He has turned the company around, especially in gaming, far better than what it is. Is it perfect? Is it where we want it to be 100%? No, but is it a lot better than it was? Have they got more of a commitment for Microsoft, Phil Spencer and his team? We do, and I feel like they're going to put on a great show. Is it going to be as good as last year's? It has to be, if not better.
I agree. So listen, we got to get to Dreadpool's topic, because I think this would have been a much bigger story. In fact, it would have probably been a lead story, because it's extremely forward thinking. It is what Microsoft is known for, being consumer friendly. And what are we exactly talking about? Well, a patent leaked where if you are an owner of an Xbox Series S, you understand that you are limited to adding your games to your library in the digital format. And more times than not, it's difficult. If you want a specific game, sometimes it's not on sale. Sometimes, if you go to Xbox or you go to, like if you go to like an Amazon, their digital library usually doesn't go on sale. Very, very rare. You'll find that on Black Fridays and occasionally some holidays. But for the most part, you're kind of stuck because you went digital, right? Well, Dread had put something into the DM regarding a patent that Xbox used to its advantage during the Xbox 360 days, and what exactly we're talking about. Dredd, I'm going to let you run with this. What did Xbox allow Xbox 360 gamers who only had the digital aspect of it able to do?
All right, for all you cool cats out there from the old days, if you guys ever heard of CDs and portable CDs that you could hook up to your computer? This is
this mystery he's talking
right.
about.
Yeah. So no, this is the same scenario. It's just like what they did in the 360 with the HD DVD players. They made external ones because yet again, Sony had Blu-ray on their PS3 and Xbox had to figure out how to compete. They chose a format that ended up losing, but they had just regular CDs back in those days, and that's how we were playing our 360 games. So this is based on the same idea, only it's not just for movies. It's literally for games. So you're going to be able to hook up a external CD via USB and just hook it up to your console, and you'll be able to pop in your games and authenticate your games and play those CD games that you have, or Blu-ray games technically. So any disc-based game that you pop in there, including your BC games, right? So all your backwards compatible, they want to be able to authenticate it with that too. Now that's hopefully that this patent goes through and everything goes great, because basically now, I mean, right? You have a you have a Series S and you're screwed, right? Everybody complained, well, I can't play my BC games that I have. I've got a collection of discs that are useless to me, and there's people that in the community still do not want to go digital. And this is yet another means to an end. It's another option. It doesn't mean that you absolutely have to buy it, but guess what? It's a pretty cool option. And for me, obviously I want to tinker with stuff. I want to see what it does when you hook it up to a Series S. I'm sorry, a Series X, just for giggles. But it's a good thing. It's if you think about it, it's another way to expand what they have.
Yep.
So you were talking about Mag. $100 and something for a game that he
$105 for two games that he wanted to play on his PlayStation 5. One was the Souls remake, which was still after 18 months $105, and Returnal, which he wanted to play because he liked, and he platinums a lot of games, dude. Like his platinums are ridiculous.
And those games used or new, but being that they're old, would be on sale or cheaper.
Yes,
right?
absolutely
and
correct.
He doesn't have that option. So this allows him, obviously, different platform. But if it was the same situation, it would allow him to be able to play those games, buy those games, and enjoy, the opportunity to get something that's older for cheaper or even a used copy. So,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, listen, you great topic, dude. Because, like I said, it's very forward facing. It is very consumer friendly. It's something that Microsoft is specifically known for. They're known for being the consumer friendly publisher, and this is just another representation of that. Obviously, the Series S is a great console. I've seen it as low as $227. I have a very, very strong suspicion that game is going to be probably $250 during the holidays. Obviously, Game Pass is a huge part. It is literally the foundation of what they're doing for next generation for Microsoft. So they're going to have to fill that A lot of people, again, the Starfield stuff is what it is. We've talked that to death. We keep hearing Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights would be a big one. As a matter of fact, Cloverfield himself actually went out there and said that he believes they should make it a priority number one to get Gotham Knights into it, because everyone has been clamoring for a superhero game for Xbox. And even though it's going to be multi-plat, it would still be pretty damn great to have that game. That's a big time superhero game. And it just confirmed that it is it's next gen only, which is great, but B, it is now 4-player co-op, and that just screams Xbox for sure. So besides the fact that it's a 4-player game, it's a multiplayer game, and that, again, Xbox is known as multiplayer. It would be a big game to get into Game Pass to relieve some of the absence in the fall, which we know that's coming out October 25th, if I'm not mistaken. But I want to continue. Crispy, what are your thoughts on this? This is another. I mean, again, it's we know someone found the patent, they put it out there. It did happen on the Xbox 360, so I would imagine it would happen on this generation as well. Do you think it's a big move for Microsoft?
I think it's a big move. A lot of people forget, how do you did a partnership with GameStop, as we tend to forget these things.
Yep.
So how do you support them in a certain way? Because at the end of the day, you did a partnership for a reason. Now you want your stuff at the forefront. You want to have these gamers talking up Xbox rather than saying, oh, this isn't good, this isn't what you want. Well, they make most of their money off used game sales, and also let's not forget they are generally much cheaper than what you would pay for even buying digital. Now Xbox is pretty good at giving you discounts on older games. Apparently, I didn't even know that PlayStation it was like that for Mag. That really does suck.
Yeah, he was talking about it just on Prime Time, dude. It's $105.
Yeah.
Wow. It's ridiculous.
And you're not going to pay that if you go to GameStop. GameStop does get their money. I mean, we all know that, but you're going to get a discount. And as a games
that are 18 months old, though, you definitely get them a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and if there's abundance of them or it sits on the shelf, they obviously have to discount them more. So it's an option. Like I said, more options better. Microsoft continues to give us options. So, I hope it comes true. And, like I said, that it makes total sense for what they've been trying to do lately.
Interesting. I mean, listen, you're right. You're 100% right, and I think that it would be, giving back to consumers, being consumer forward facing, consumer friendly. Yeah, dude. That's Microsoft in a whole. Can't argue when you talk about inherent value, right? Microsoft, out of all of the publishers and that we talk about with Nintendo, and you talk about Sony, they're number one. They honestly want to give back to their customers as much as they do. Game Pass is a perfect example of that, and this would be another way to allow for anyone, because again, not everyone's tech savvy, but if it works the way it has been explained to me. You take a CD drive or a DVD drive, you plug it into your Xbox, you put the game in, it reads it, you get the digital license, you download it on your console, and that's it. You're good to go. If that, in fact, is the case, that is going to be awesome. Fuzzy, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Big deal or not so much?
No, it's definitely a big deal, because as someone that has a lot of disc games from the Xbox One generation, and both of my sons have their Series S consoles, I mean, they're basically kind of like game sharing with me now as far as all of the digital content. But some of the digital content, some of the disc content we have, I rebought as disc games. And there's a handful of them that I didn't bother with at this point, but it would definitely be a big help as far as being able to get some of that on like my other son's Series S. Like it's kind of weird how, and like I hope they have this family plan thing, enabled here soon, but I have to share or game share with my one son, and then with the other son, I have to basically buy the game again digitally for his console. But with this program, if I can take, like, perfect example would be Rainbow Six Siege. I have actually we have 2 disc copies because before they used to share one Xbox One and then I had my series or my Xbox One X. So it would be one of those things if we all wanted to play or at least 2 of us play at the same time, each one would have a disc. And then I got tired of having to put the disc back in. So I wound up buying it digitally and doing the game share. It was like, oh, well, we don't need this disc anymore. And I didn't bother trading them in. It's in like our little collection of discs and stuff. So something like this would definitely be a big help. As far as any of the back compat games, like we have Red Dead Redemption, the original one on disc for the 360. Same thing with Forza Horizon, the original one. We have it on disc. So I know this was kind of hinted at like a couple of years ago before the S was released, type of thing. I'm so glad that they're moving forward with this because it's going to be a huge help in games that it's like I really don't feel like waiting until a sale to buy the $60 game for $15 or $20 or whatever when we already own it, like both in disc multiple times and digital already, just so I can have it on my elder son's console. And I'm kind of waiting for the whole family playing thing to kind of kick in to see.
That's supposed to launch in the fall,
Mm-hmm.
and we're hearing rumors that they actually might talk about that.
Yeah.
At the show. I think the family plan, like I have a friend of mine who's out of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I worked for a while, had hip surgery, and my wife and I got him a Series S and 6 months of Game Pass. If there's a family plan, I'm gonna add him on.
Yeah.
Because I want him to play games, and I don't want him to worry about it. Same thing for my nephew Tyler. He just got his first Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna add him. I don't mind paying for it. I can afford the little couple extra bucks that they're going to ask. So you're right. That's going to be big.
Yeah. So yeah, I look forward to when this hopefully gets activated and everything. But yeah, it's just an awesome program. I mean, it may not be much for a lot of people out there that have gone full digital and aren't in a household of multiple gamers type of thing. But hey, it's definitely going to help out a good portion of those that are still transitioning from either the 360 to next gen or from Xbox One to next gen. And I look forward to it.
I absolutely agree. Let's get John Wolf's opinion on this. John, this is a big deal. You're a bit of a tech guy yourself. How big of a deal is this?
I think it's a pretty big deal, Boom. And I like it's always good to have options, better to be able to provide your clients with an option better than not have any type of solution. But let me add this to the conversation. What if they have figured out a way that all you need to do is plug in any USB portable Blu-ray player and it'll work? You want to really make an impact and really put out good favor with the community? That's definitely a way to do it. Looking at Amazon here, you could get one as cheap as $55. So if they're going to release their own, the price is the only thing that I would be a little bit worried about. That they need to keep that at a decent price, no more than $65, I would say. Because then it's a deal breaker. Now, if the ace, right, the ace up their sleeve would be that they say, hey, guess what? Plug in your portable Blu-ray player and you're good to go. Pop in the game, you can play the game. That would be excellent and that's something that I think, and the innovation that I would expect from Microsoft. That would be awesome. And again, I love, everybody brought up great points so far, but the one that I do agree with, that I think is the one leading the charge here, might be that partnership with GameStop, as Crispy mentioned. I think that's a great point, brother, that you made up. It's kind of weird for you to walk into GameStop and be like, hey, can I trade in this code that I already used? You can't do that, right? So you need to kind of have if they have this multi-year partnership where they want Xbox to be the first thing you see and plastered all over your face when you walk in to their store. I agree with Crispy. You kind of need to kind of throw GameStop a bone here and be like, hey, this is how we generate our income, by the trading in of games through disc and stuff. So we kind of need you to scratch our backs here too. Okay. So I think that this is nothing but good. Okay. These are the things that I'm talking about. They must have some data that suggests that, a lot of feedback that suggests that people are asking for this, for them to even entertain this idea. So to me, Boom, I've gone all digital, to be honest with you, as much as possible. I was playing I was playing Wolverine on the 360 the other day. Boom.
That's such a great game, dude.
Oh, bro, I
So
was
good,
slicing
bro.
dudes up. Oh man, that game is very, very underrated. And I said it on my stream, and I'll say it here: Insomniac, you got your work cut out. That game is good. Okay, they set the bar pretty high in that game. So the point I was making was that, dude, I'm not gonna lie, man, and I don't want to sound like a lazy oaf here, but boom, I had to whip out the disc. I had to open up the tray. My 360 is vibrating, shaking. My whole desk is shaking because the disc tray's going. Brother, I had to make sure the PC wasn't going to fall down to the floor. I was like, oh, man, this brings back memories. You know, I'm trying to listen to the game, and all you hear is a So I've kind of gone away from the disc side of things, Boom, because the all digital is so convenient. I love being able to use the quick resume. I love being able to just click on a game and play. That is the future. Obviously, Microsoft believes in that, but I can't be that guy either that tells you that there aren't people out there that want choice, right? So I think that them offering this option is nothing but good stuff. And Dreadpool, big props to you for finding this, man. This is a big find.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of feedback. Everybody, I got one idiot, but everybody is saying that this is a great option. It's a good thing that they're doing. The one guy's like, it's stupid. There's no reason for it. They should have just got an X. And I'm like, that's the whole point. It's
that's
we don't know why they didn't get it for whatever reason.
I agree with Dreadpool. If we still are living in a world where a GameStop store is selling disc, they need to have an option for it for their
100%.
My thing is, I would also definitely push this out, but I still want them to go back because I actually went to a Microsoft store and they had no idea what I was talking about, and then they shut them all down. I wanted to trade in a disc and get the digital rendition of it. And the store looked at me like I had three heads.
Yeah, that wasn't. Well,
that program was very, very short lived.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft does things, and sometimes some things hit, some things don't. But listen, let's get Web Dave's final opinion on this. We'll get everyone out here to start or finish off your Friday the 13th. Hopefully, you having a great day. I got something to do, but I'm jumping on Halo as soon as I get done with that.
Boom. We all know you're gonna dress like Jason Voorhees and terrorize all the little kids in your neighborhood.
Dude, I am gonna be terrorizing people with the energy sword because that's my new favorite go-to. I am just slicing and dicing people. This is just great, especially when you hide behind corners. It's just so much fun. Anyway, Dave, it's big. This Patten is big on a multitude of levels. It's big because it's consumer friendly, it's front facing, but there's something else to it. It's something that Sony again doesn't do, and they probably won't do. What are your thoughts on this, man?
So you're telling me there's a chance
that
I can get some old games or games that I have now, put them on and put them in my system and have them on there digitally, and then not have the disc anymore to verify that I've got that I own the product? Is that what you're telling me this is going to do?
No, it's what you put the disc in. The disc turns into a key. So instead of have to trade that in and buy a Series X, you can just buy this peripheral, add it onto what you already have, put the disc in, and just like your Series X, it'll download the digital version of the game,
the digital license,
and all it is a key. It'll allow you to pop in the disc, and it's your digital key.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, but then you're able to play it on the S without any disc at all.
Without disc, you got the digital license, so you're good.
You got the digital license, okay.
But then, do you ever have to, I guess, re-verify later? Or
I'm sure you do. Okay. I'm sure you're going to have to. There's
just kind of touching bases.
Yeah, no.
But any option to make this more accessible and games available to more people, that's a win. And yes, I'm all for it. I think it's a definite plus. I mean, it's like you said, unavailable on other platforms. If it's something that's going to help out people that have the Series S, that's great, because I know I'm getting one eventually, and I want to be able to have some games on there as well, digital form, which would be great. That may not be digital, so that's super. It's a win-win-win-win-win. Excellent good idea. I think it's great. I hope that it gets implemented soon. Like I said, I was just kind of listening to everybody talk when I was kind of confused a little. So I'm sorry. I'm not a smart man, but I do like to play games. So there you go.
Listen,
That's what I think, man. I think it's a positive, and I definitely hope it comes out in fruition.
yeah, no, well, we'll hope again. It's a Patten. Dreadful found the
Nice.
story. It was reported, so it's fact. It's not even an opinion. Hopefully,
Good
it
job,
does come
Dred.
to fruition. But, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for this week's new episode of Breakfast with Boom. I now get to take a bit of a break from podcasting until we come back around next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for prime time gaming on its new day, and then we'll be doing this hopefully. You guys are gonna, come and join us on the, on the new evening spot. And of course, I want to thank everyone. We had a ton. We had almost 500 people here, which is bonkers. So thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the commentary enough to give us a like, subscribe to the channel. Of course, let's get to the outros. We're going to start first with Dreadpool. Dreadpool, brother, sell your brand. Tell them about Breaking Bread with Dread, where they can find that on all of their favorite RSS feeds. And more importantly, where can people reach out to you and strike up a conversation on social media?
All right. As always, thank you everybody in chat for being respectful, and except for that one, whatever, keep your clothes on, dude. So speaking of, this is the first time ever I'm going to give the biggest kudos to the chat, to the super chats. DJ Birdo, you win that kudo for laughing your ass off because I said I hope I don't die. So, but yeah, I appreciate that. It's awesome. Like I said, you guys make this work. I love hanging out with everybody on the panel and the chat. It's all synergy, right?
Yeah.
So definitely, keep up that energy, guys. And remember, we all have our opinions. We all are wrong with our opinions. Doesn't matter who's right. We're all wrong. And then you'll be a happy camper. Now, Game and Beyond Box on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. right here every Friday morning, except for next week because I will be at Orlando MegaCon with Italian Clowns and Cerebral Paul and whoever else. If you guys are in the area, in the Orlando area, come by and say hello.
Nice.
We'll gladly talk to you. Hang out, whatever.
Nice.
Just the Breaking Bread with Dread. It's on anchor.fm/Dreadpool, which is also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and so forth. There's like 18 different podcast sites that I found myself on. I was like really shocked because I didn't put it there. So it's expanding and growing, and we will have some more Breaking Bread with Dreads over the weekend next week.
Nice, brother.
And then linktree.com/Dreadpool has all the links to everything between YouTube, Twitter, even TikTok, and Hoover.
Nice.
So definitely check it out. It's got my merch. So again, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and thanks for being part of the panels.
Yeah, well, thank you for being here, brother. As always, Crispy Bond, sell your brand, brother. Where can people find you on other podcasts? And more importantly, where can people check you out on social media?
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Shout out to the chat. Great combos. Love it. At Crispy Bomb on Twitter, CrispyBomb28, Xbox Live. You can find me on Retro Renegades, 7 p.m. Tuesday nights. Primetime Gaming, Wednesday, 7 p.m. And the next podcast, Thursday, 8 p.m. See you next week.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you for being here. Fuzzy Belvedere, brother. Tell them about your incredible YouTube channel dedicated to the form of racing. But more importantly, where can people find you on other shows and reach out to you on social media?
Well, just want to thank everybody here on the panel as well as everybody in the chat. Everything, just great conversation. Yes, bad news, but hey, we're going to get back to gaming this weekend. So everybody have fun with that. And for those that want to hear my ramblings on anything gaming related, you can follow me on Twitter at Fuzzy_Belvedere. Check out my racing videos and some video content coming soon here on my YouTube channel, Fuzzy_Belvedere. I will be guest appearing later today on the Doomslayer Den.
Nice.
I believe it's 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check out the Doomslayers Network. Also, we'll be on Fun Speculations channel later on tonight on the Xbox Ultimate with basically my second family with Mav and Caitlin and the whole crew.
Great group
And then
of human
on-
beings, let me tell you.
Yeah. And then on Saturday, the Shop Podcast with PTK Blam, Pong Soul. And I believe we have Silent Cypher as our special guest this weekend. So come and check that out at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And then on Monday, you can find me on Tidbits on Fun Speculations channel with Mav, Jasper, Psychonauts, and 3-Bit, basically talking about all three platforms, Xbox,
Nice.
Nintendo, and PlayStation. And then look forward to being here again on next Friday morning at 10 a.m. on Breakfast with Boom with these guys. Love
Thank you,
being
brother.
with
Definitely appreciate you being a part of the panel each and every week, and appreciate you jumping in yesterday to give us your opinion. John Wolf, sell your brand, brother. Where can people check out your YouTube channel? More importantly, reach out to you on social media.
Absolutely, Boom. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. We really appreciate all the feedback on the chat. Great conversations I was seeing, that were ongoing. Thanks for keeping it respectful. And like always, everyone here, thank you all. Thank you, gentlemen, for your for your thoughts. It's definitely something that I listen to everybody, and I take back, and it stays with me, and it helps. It helps for the conversation, guys. You have no idea. Boom. Whoever wants to follow me, I just reached. Boom, I can't believe this. I reached 350 subscribers on my YouTube channel just this week.
Well deserved, brother.
Thank you, guys, and thank you for everyone that subscribed. Boom's gonna put the link down below to my Twitter. That can lead you to all my contacts there. Anybody wants to draw up a conversation, please feel free to do so. I'm always up to talking games and comics and movies, whatever you guys want, man. I'm down for a conversation anytime. And yeah, guys, I hope everyone has a nice weekend, playing whatever you're gonna play or doing whatever you're gonna do. Have a good weekend and stay safe, everyone.
Thank you. And last but not least, Web Dave, you got a big interview coming up this Monday. Sell that interview. Where can people check it out? And who have you interviewed since then?
Oh man, Boom, thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it. This is a great show. It's a great panel. I can't think of a better way to get into the community and talk about gaming than one of your shows. And I mean that, dude. It's awesome, and it's a privilege to be here. So Outbreak Gaming, I do a lot of interviews and with gaming influencers. If you didn't know, it's Outbreak Podcast is on YouTube. We'll have the link in the descriptions. There's also outbreakpodcast.com. And I've been fortunate to have a lot of great interviews, including Mr. Boomstick, also with Fuzzy Belvedere, Crispy Bomb, the Dreadpool. All those interviews are up there for you to listen to right now. And I tell you, they are all fascinating because we dig a little deeper than just, what kind of games you like to play. We find out about the person, the people, and let them know, we kind of find out why you got into the community. And that's, to me, it was always fascinating. That's why I started the show to begin with. I also have some really wonderful interviews up there with Dealer Gaming and also with Randall Thor 19. And so, and more coming. I have this Monday, we're going to be the Ashton Luca. She is absolutely amazing, very opinionated, and a lot of fun. And her conversation gets into the weeds, and we have a lot of fun there. I tell you, it's a good one. Got some other ones coming up. Hopefully going to have the Wolf Man before long. That's right. John Wolf is going to be going under the mic, aren't you, John?
Let's do it.
All right. And then I've got Colt Eastwood coming up. I've got the Plume Network. A lot of people may not know him, but he puts out a lot of really good content. And that's the thing, is I'm reaching out to a lot of different people. And I actually do have a really good reply back yesterday from, let's say, someone in corporate at Microsoft that said that sometime in July, we might be able to sit down for a little interview. And when I get that interview, oh man, we're going to have some fun. That's all I got to say. Woo-hoo. So anyway, nice. Boom, thanks again. And also, Boom, don't forget tonight, man, we gotta play not only some Halo, make a little bit of time to play some Evil Dead with me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it the old college effort, brother. Time is, of course, a very, very
Gotcha.
of the essence, but I'll definitely give it the old college effort. Yeah, I even forgot Evil Dead released until my friend just actually texted me, and he's playing. He said it's fantastic. It's already downloaded. I'm ready to rock and roll with that. But I'm gonna be honest with you, Halo, man. I'm
I'm with
50, I'm just about to hit level 60. I can't wait. I want to finish this battle pass. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. I want to thank you for supporting Double Barrel Gaming with your views, with your likes, with your shares on social media. But of course, the monetary aspect of supporting Double Barrel Gaming through channel membership. We had a new channel member today. Also, all the super chats that come in, they are greatly appreciated. And of course, they allow for Mrs. Boom and I to do these big giveaways, and we have 3 left for the remainder of the 22 campaign, and it's all done thanks to the generosity of you fine folks. So thanks again, and of course, I'm going to close out today's show with something.
Excuse me, Boom. Before you do that, I'm sorry but did you miss the last one?
I think I did. Yeah, actually, Gamers Play HUD Zero, who actually just DM'd me. He sent me a tweet from someone that Stalker 2 is a go for December. So
nice.
Thank you for the information. So that, if in fact that turns out to be a real deal, that's going to be big. That's going to be really big because you have Scorn in October, which has been confirmed by the developer. And of course, Stalker 2 looks absolutely insane. And I believe it's running on Unreal Engine 5, if I'm not mistaken. And that's pretty big. So if they can get that game out, that's going to be dope. So thank you for the super chat. Well, more importantly, thank you for the info, brother. Anyway, let me just close out the show with something, folks, that is important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dear old dad taught me with kids. And he said, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. Have a great weekend. Enjoy gaming on whatever console you enjoy gaming on. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Breakfast with Boom.